It is exactly 8:42 a.m. Welcome back. And that was truly a very emotional interview with the daughter of the late Imam Harun. That was Fatima Harun Massoud in tears talking about what unfolded at the inquest last week. I too was very moved by that interview. God give them strength, inshallah. It's difficult times indeed, but the whole purpose of that is that the truth be told, that history gets the story right. Next, we're going to be talking with analyst Dr. Dick Forsland. He is from the AIDC. We're going to be looking at the issue around international loans to South Africa. A very good morning to you, Dr. Dick Forsland. Nice to have you on the show once again.
Good morning, Julie, and good morning to your viewers. Yes, I also listened to Fatima's story, and I hope that the family and the country will get justice in this.
Absolutely. Okay, so Dr. Forsland, I've talked with you plenty of times here on the show, and I've always introduced you as an analyst. But I do see that you are with the Alternative Information and Development Center. Before we go to the heart of the matter, can you tell us what type of work is undertaken by the AIDC and how long are they in operation?
So AIDC started in 1996, in fact, and it started, interestingly, it started around the issue of debt, the issue of South Africa's debt at that time. And that was also about the debt from the apartheid years. And it was also about the large pension fund, state pension fund that started that year. In fact, one motive for starting that pension fund was to secure the livelihood of all the staff of the old apartheid government, which kind of was leaving their service in the state. And some of them, yeah, it has relation to the story that Fatima told before. But it also, of course, today serves all the members of public service. So, and at that time also, you had the Jubilee South campaign for the cancellation of the debts of the third world countries to the north. And so that was kind of the context of starting up the AIDC. And since then, we do research and support on illicit financial flows. We support social movement. We are active in the budget debate, and we are active also in the debate of public service and generally the situation of workers and ordinary people in South Africa. And we are very, very much engaged in the climate crisis issue. I mean, we started in 2011, we started a campaign for 1 million climate jobs and tried to rally unions around this cause in order to. And now we are here 11 years later after we started that campaign.
Okay, and these debts that we're talking about currently, the subject matter that we're going to engage in a minute or two, has to do with the debt regarding climate change. But just before we go there, I'd like to digress because you mentioned in 1966, you started looking at then the apartheid regime's pension fund scheme. What's happened to the government pension scheme? A while ago, I'd heard that I could have misunderstood, but there were serious problems. People were dipping into that scheme. It was probably on the verge of bankruptcy. Where are we on that matter? And, obviously the PIC comes into play here as well. There's a big question around that issue, that concern as well, PIC. What is the state of play as far as the government pension scheme is concerned?
Yeah, that is a very interesting discussion. And the fact is, as we as AIDC see it, and we have been saying this for 4 years now, that no, the state pension fund and the GEPF is not on the verge of bankruptcy. In fact, it's the opposite. But it has to do with the legislation and the setup of the framework of the fund, which sometimes makes people believe that this is the case. So you might know that only sort of 2 weeks ago, the members of the state pension fund, when they got the yearly account to see what pension endowment they have in the fund, suddenly it had dropped. And I got one email for someone who said that if I would retire now, it seems like I will get 30% less in pension. But that has to do with when they set up the fund in 1990, it was also in 1996, in fact, 1997, 1998. They kind of adopted legislation around the fund which is more appropriate for a corporate pension fund, which can go bust and the corporation can disappear. And then the pensions in a separate fund must be able to pay all the pensions for those who already have retired and for those who are getting retrenched if there's a bankruptcy until they die, so to speak. And that is called a fully funded setup. And that is what was adopted. And it builds kind of on the reason why this is very awkward for a state pension fund is that the state will not disappear. And as for the GPF, because of this setup, it has accumulated. Today it's good for about 2.3 trillion rand. It's the biggest pension fund in Africa, and it runs with a surplus every year after paying pensions and benefits to its members. Well, last year it was 46 billion rand. The year before it was 58 billion rand. The year before it has always run with surplus of between 30 billion and 60 billion rand per year. And if you have sort of a setup which was usual before the neoliberal revolution, you can say, or the neoliberal political movement, you would have organized the state pension fund like this as a so-called pay as you go system. You pay the pensions as you go along. So you see too that those who are contributing to the fund, their contribution together with whatever interest you can get from investment, it pays for those who have already retired. And that was the rule for state pension funds kind of like 20, 25 years ago. But then came neoliberalism, and now we have this solution. And this is also, this is also why we are very critical against the foreign lending of the South African government, because the state pension fund, it puts like over half of this 2.3 trillion is put on the stock market and put at risk at the stock market. And that is the reason why the pension endowments and pension paid fell like 2-3 weeks. That's why the people are now looking at these letters from the GPF and see that they will get much less pension than before. And the reason, so that is the case. So we campaign for changing the whole legislation of the state pension fund, and it would also solve the issue of foreign lending, in our belief. Yes.
So, Dr. Forslin, regarding the state pension fund, it's not bankrupt, and it's not about officials dipping into the fund and lining their pockets. Not at all. It's just the way the funds have been invested, and that is the concern. Have I understood you clearly?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
We've just lost Dr. Forslin there. We'll try and reconnect. We'll take a short ad break. You are tuned into News and Views right here on Salam Media.
Who lost their home.
For every community without water.
For every person searching for a way to give, Africa Muslims Agency has been at your service for 35 years, connecting hearts and changing lives. Thank you for helping us to serve the needy since 1987. Support our journey by donating to Africa Muslims Agency as we commemorate 35 years of empowering, educating, and inspiring.
Online schooling? Why not? Kurtuba Online Academy is the leading global online Islamic school from grade R to matric, offering certificate and international syllabus. And it doesn't stop there. We also offer online madrasa for every grade. For more information, visit www.kurtubaonline.co.za. Kurtuba Online Academy, the leading global online Islamic school.
Did you know that through SANZAF, you can provide a meal to an individual for only 12 Rand? By committing to a monthly contribution, you can assist us in reaching out to more communities and deserving individuals. A once-off donation will also be highly appreciated in helping us achieve our monthly target. For more information, call us on 011 834 6046. SANZAF, changing lives through development and relief.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randari Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. Don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randari Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randari Jewelers, the family name you can trust. Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. We do have a reconnection with Dr. Dick Forslund from the AIDC. We are talking about more international loans, which equals to more debt and misery for us as South Africans. But of course, we digressed a bit. We were talking a little bit about state pension funds. And that was a nice, brief overview from you, Dr. Dick Forslund. I do appreciate it indeed. Let's get to the heart of the matter. And can I please ask you to unmute your mic, and then you can respond to me regarding, gosh, what does this mean for us as ordinary lay people in South Africa? These massive loans that the government keeps on taking in the name of renewable energy. Where do we sit on this issue?
Well, this is the third loan that the government have taken this year. You remember there was one loan of $750 million from the World Bank in January. And then there was a new loan from the World Bank now, 497 million Rand, just 1 month ago to repurpose the Komati coal power plant. And now is this loan from Germany and France of about 600 euros. And I mean, the Treasury and the leading officials in the Treasury, they don't mind to entangle more and more in the sort of finance industry. And the idea is that the so-called concessionary lending, to have lending from foreign governments at below the market interest rate, that will do the job. But there are sort of several problems with this. One problem is that even if you have lower interest rates on the loan, if the Rand drops in value, these loans can be very expensive to pay back because you have to pay them back in dollars, or in this case now, the latest case, in euros. Secondly, you have kind of sort of when they can be, we don't know about the conditions, really, the political condition of these loans. And what we are scared of as AIDC is that the lower the interest rate, the more are the political conditions. And this will involve letting in private corporations to do the job when it comes to not only maybe sort of climate installment of climate renewable energy and so on, but it can be all kind of conditions, and basically it can end up in giving up the sovereignty, at least when it comes to the just transition, as it's called, to a low fossil fuel economy. So, and we think it's especially, I mean, the lower the interest rate, the more we can expect that the political conditions that is attached will be, and that is a main concern for us. So
Two
it can
issues.
be, yeah.
Okay, two issues before we wrap up. The one is a bit of out of the box thinking from my part. I kind of think South Africa and other poorer African nations or third world countries, when they are indebted to the hilt as far as Western countries are concerned. And I know it may sound outrageous what I will be saying now, but I'm sure there's some sense in what I'm saying. Indirectly, are we not opening ourselves up to indirect colonial rule in our countries? We're giving away our power.
Yeah, that is a way of expressing it. You can say so. And I mean, I don't know if you read the newspapers, but I'm staying close to this area here on the south coast. And there's also been a discussion now about giving away most of the tenders for the N2 road and different kind of Sandrals projects to Chinese companies. And there's a protest from the South African Engineering Society against this. So that is kind of one example of the sovereignty. And I mean, one can note at the conference in Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt now on the climate crisis, that the South African delegation is not active in the discussion about loss and damages, which means that the North would pay for their historical responsibility for the situation that the climate is in. So third world countries basically demand grants to sort of deal with the climate crisis. You might know that almost, I'm sure you know, and your viewers know, that almost 1/3 of Pakistan has been underwater because of the rain bombing of the country,
Absolutely.
which comes from the climate change. So South Africa is not active in this debate. And as for the last loan now, only 4% of this is so-called grant funding. The rest is commercial loans, or it is so-called concessionary lending. But South African government, they are more interested in kind of integrating the economy in the financial network of global finance. And we say that there are domestic funds that can take care of this, and both the pension and the benefits of the state employees, and also invest, sort of move the money from the stock market and move it into to help Eskom and to finance the just transition. That's basically the message of us.
Okay, Dr. Dix Forsland, I could sit here all day picking your brain about all of these matters. There's so much to unpack, but let's leave it for another time. Thank you indeed for talking with us this morning. Go well, God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
It is exactly 9 o'clock. News and views right here on Salam Media. Standing by to talk to us is Pietrus Venter. He's the Deputy Regional Director, Water Resources Management. We're going to be talking about the overflow of the Hartbeespoort Dam impacts, or perhaps good news, because we were talking water shortages not too long ago. But do stand by for that interview.